If you think ghost stories aren't real, let me tell you about Lisa and the text she received at midnight. It was midnight, and Lisa was just scrolling through her phone, ready to sleep. She had had a long day at work and was looking forward to a good night's rest. The room was dimly lit by the soft glow of her phone screen, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The silence of the night was only broken by the occasional rustling of leaves outside her window. Suddenly her phone buzzed. The sudden vibration startled her, breaking the stillness of the night. She glanced at the screen, expecting a random notification or a message from a friend, a text from her best friend. The name on the screen made her heart skip a beat. It was a name she hadn't seen in a long time, a name that brought back a flood of memories. The one who died a year ago. Lisa's eyes widened in disbelief. She felt a chill run down her spine as she stared at the screen, unable to comprehend what she was seeing. Her best friend, who had tragically passed away in a car accident, was somehow sending her a message. Last seen today, 12:00 a.m. The timestamp on the message was even more unsettling. How could someone who was no longer alive be active at midnight? Lisa's mind raced with questions, but she knew she had to read the message. With trembling hands, she opened the message. Her fingers shook as she tapped on the notification, her heart pounding in her chest. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "Come outside, I need to see you." The message was simple, yet it sent a wave of fear through her. Why would her deceased friend want to see her? What could this possibly mean? She looked around, heart racing, but curiosity took over. Despite the fear gripping her, Lisa felt an overwhelming urge to find out what was happening. She couldn't ignore the message, not when it came from someone she had loved so dearly. She crept to the front door and peeked through the window. The night was eerily quiet and the street outside was bathed in the pale light of the full moon. She hesitated for a moment, her hand hovering over the doorknob. Under the street lamp there stood her friend. The figure was unmistakable. It was her best friend standing under the street lamp, looking just as she did the last time Lisa had seen her, looking exactly as she did the day she died. The sight was both comforting and terrifying. Lisa felt a mix of emotions, relief at seeing her friend again, but also a deep sense of dread. Lisa cracked the door open, whispering, "Is that really you?" Her voice was barely audible, trembling with fear and hope. She needed to know if this was real or just a figment of her imagination. Her friend lifted her head, revealing hollow eyes. The sight was horrifying. The once vibrant eyes of her friend were now empty and hollow, devoid of life. It was a stark reminder that this was not the friend she once knew. "Why didn't you come that night?" The ghostly figure's voice was filled with sorrow and regret. Lisa's mind flashed back to the night of the accident. She had promised to meet her friend, but had cancelled at the last minute. The guilt she had carried since that night now felt even heavier. And then she vanished. Just as suddenly as she had appeared, the ghostly figure disappeared into thin air. Lisa was left standing at the door, her heart pounding and her mind racing. Some people never really leave. The encounter left Lisa shaken. She knew that her friend's spirit was still lingering, unable to move on. The message was a reminder that some bonds are so strong they transcend even death. Lisa spent the rest of the night sitting on her bed, looking at old photos of her and her friend. Tears streamed down her face as she remembered the good times they had shared. She realized that she needed to find a way to help her friend's spirit find peace. The next day, Lisa visited her friend's grave. She placed a bouquet of flowers on the headstone and whispered a prayer, asking for forgiveness and hoping that her friend could finally rest in peace. Determined to find answers, Lisa sought the help of a medium. The medium performed a ritual trying to communicate with the spirit. Lisa watched anxiously, hoping for a sign that her friend had found peace. The medium assured Lisa that her friend's spirit had moved on and was now at peace. Lisa felt a sense of relief wash over her. She knew that she had done everything she could to help her friend. That night, Lisa looked up at the night sky, feeling a sense of closure. The stars twinkled brightly and she felt a comforting presence around her. She knew that her friend was finally at peace and she could now move on with her life. As she walked away from the cemetery, Lisa felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She knew that her friend would always be with her in spirit, but now she could remember her with a smile instead of tears. Some stories are meant to remind us that love and friendship can transcend even the boundaries of life and death. Lisa's story is a testament to the enduring power of these bonds. So the next time you hear a ghost story, remember Lisa and her friend. Some connections are so strong that not even death can break them, and sometimes the ones we love never really leave us. The end.